Good afternoon and welcome to ATN Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues, give them aggregate attention with a view to prefer solutions that will benefit humanity. First, the headlines. Drug abuse. Man allegedly murders father after taking Colorado in Sapele. Oyo State's mother dies by suicide over food disputes with husband. Femicide. She cheated. I don't regret killing her. Gospel singer. For education, police school teachers protest 33 months unpaid salaries. Remember that we are open for advert placements, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product service promotion, and commercials. Connect with us on all our ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on Twitter, Atlantic TV Network, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a quick break. When we get back, I will share who my guest is. Please stay with us.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what
I have fought a very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Thank you so much for staying with us and welcome back. Here with me in the studio to dive into this discourse is my very awesome guest, Mr. Handover to God Luke. He's a social affairs analyst. We're so glad to have you join us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go right into it. 23-year-old Prince Nyerowo has been arrested in Sapele, Delta State for allegedly stabbing his 65-year-old father to death after consuming a synthetic drug known as Colorado. The incident, which occurred on Sunday in the Samukwe area, has left the community in shock. Family sources revealed that Prince struggled with addiction to synthetic cannabinoids, also known as spice, which led to repeated violent episodes. In the past, he reportedly tried to strangle his mother during one of such episodes. According to a family source, this isn't the first time Prince has exhibited violence under the influence of drugs. His addiction had spiraled out of control, making him unpredictable. His mother did her best to help, but the financial burden was too much to bear. Efforts to rehabilitate him were unsuccessful due to financial constraints. His mother sought help from facilities in Benin City and Sapele, but eventually ran out of resources. On the fateful day after consuming Colorado, Prince demanded 5,000 naira from his father. When the request was denied, he became enraged. An autopsy while authorities continue their investigation. We've hammered a lot on, on drugs. I think on one of our discussions we did talk about how these drugs even come in, given that we have the NDLEA. But well, let's start from the top. What are your thoughts on the story?
Well, based on the storyline and what we just read, I see the issue of drugs has done so much to our younger generations, seriously. And to me, if you asked what are the benefits of these drugs, it has nothing, just to give them highness and all the rest. And so the majority of our young people see it as fun. They engage themselves, unknowing to them, there's a repercussion to it. It's a repercussion to it. Imagine when you look at the storyline that the mother have tried everything, trying to introduce him to a kind of a facility, a rehabilitation facility where they can at least see how they can tame the situation, help him out. But at the end of the day, she was financially bankrupt because of a child.
Right.
Possibly this child, the family, the father, the mother has been doing everything possible for him to become a good child, for him to raise him, to become for him to be responsible. But the society we find ourselves, where the reverse is the case, every young people wants to look at this age, 26 or 23, something thereabouts. Engaging himself in all this because of the environment he finds himself. Right.
Now, when you say the family and the parents have done everything, I quite, the story did mention the...
He said the mother...
The mother has, invested a lot of money, tried her best towards his rehabilitation, to no avail. Now, what does it bring to your thoughts? Children, when a child is born, a child comes into this world as a clean slate. Right, and everything the child sees is like a pencil being written on a plain A4 paper.
Yeah.
Right. Persons to the drive till this boy arrived at this point.
Not completely.
Okay.
Because before it gets to this point, before the mother starts looking for a way out to see how he can help the child to come back to normality, it means, and from the neighborhood, the story, what their own testimony concerning this, is that Prince has been acting this way. Simply means that this is not just the first time.
Right, because the story mentioned him almost trying to strangle his mother.
Yeah, so the child just grew beyond their control. But they saw it early stage. Some parents have come in contact with some families that all they know is your food is there, go and eat your food. They don't bother how the child will be and they don't even bother to know his activities. So I've seen family like that. So maybe the family of priests can sometimes, it may likely be one of them. But to me, my advice to every family is that parents that are raising children, raising future generation, is that they have the responsibility to observe their children very closely and understand, because as a mother, as an older person, you can sit down here and observe an activities of a younger person and know without asking questions. So there are signs everywhere. The kind of friends he keep, the late night, sometimes, because before he gets to drugs, he must have been smoking cigarette. From cigarette, he migrate to other things, just like that. This is a level by level. A child who have not tested cigarette will not just jump in and become drug addict. So this thing has become, imagine he's either 26 or 23 years, here they put it there. Imagine how long he has been in this thing.
Now, when we talk about the length, given that it's most likely out of secondary school, maybe at 16 or so, 17, 18. Now, when you look at the structure of this in schools and sensitization programs, I remember when I got into the university, I first of all went to write an aptitude test at the University of Lagos. And when I got there to that aptitude test, there used to be a big old banner of, you know, stay away from drugs and all of that. I think there were so many around even in the city of Port Harcourt at that point in time. When you get into most of these schools, you see the admonition, drug kills, drug can ruin your life and all of that. Now, do you think that I currently do not see all of that the way I used to see it when I was growing up, right? And you know, when I say why do you think, I'm talking about every other person that is supposed to be involved in this sensitization. I'm talking about ministries, I'm talking about religious bodies that are supposed to be driving the discourse of why young people, because trainings for me that start from the grassroots, like when a baby is born, like I earlier said, they're
doing the assignment given to, and giving that child reason why you need to do the assignment. If you don't do, you will fail your exam. Your auntie will flog you. That child will just think, like, look at some children, some family, once the children come, but just throw their back and start running outside with that. But I know sometimes the parents end up not even doing the assignment, helping them doing the assignment. At the end of the some of them see them rushing at the early hour of the morning to help junior or to do assignment that they were supposed to do it, so that they were supposed to guide them to help them. So when you don't train, when the school is giving their best, and the parents is not also helping the children to remind them that there's an assignment you are supposed to work on, it will not become part of them. So no matter the ministry that is carrying out the sensitization, because I remember then when I was working with an NGO, Youth Rescue International Development, we were actually deliberating cultism and drugs. They are working in pari passu. Every child that is in the street, once you are introduced to gangs, the first thing that you'll be guided is to how to make yourself look like extraordinary human being, and that alone can happen in the course of taking all these hard substance, making you changing. The hard substance has a way of influencing one's mind, making you feel that you are on top. And how did it happen? It didn't just happen in a group of moral group. No, it happens in a group where in a gangs. It's group of people coming together trying to be the king, trying to be the superman, the youth in the street. It started by social groups, and before you know all this, the drug is part of their. Take this thing first. It's a choice, and the parents also have a bigger role to play in the sense of when they get this sensitization, when these people, the drug enforcement agents are advertising this thing, telling you to abstain from it. It is a duty of the parents to draw the attention of their children. Say, look at this thing they are saying, and expatiate it to them by telling them this is the outcome of it if you engage yourself in it, and this is how your life is going to be. And so when they don't do this thing, the children goes out there and meet wrong people who don't give them, they will tell them the good part of this stuff unknowing to them. A young man that the father trained and wanted to send him to Ghana, it was under my custody when I was with the Youth Rescue International. Suddenly, the father did everything possible. They wanted to send him to Ghana. He wanted to go to Ghana and study. they did everything to make sure that these younger ones were taking advantage of the trend and they're going to school. Also, then was it there? You just pretend to be in a developed country. This set of people have a place where the government takes care of them, making them, trying to sanitize them, engaging them in positive stuff like training and what have you, to enable them, takes away their mind, and then abstaining them from having access to this thing for a period of time.
All right.
But in the system where we are, even though the government is doing everything to make sure that at least trying its best, because like we are in a system whereby even when government is putting so much, you cannot see the so much reflecting. Because why? There is no monitoring, there is no check, there is nobody to checkmate those things.
All right.
So they just heard in the story that the government has put so much, they call the figure, and when you hear the figure, you so amazed. But the outcome, the dividends of that figure is not reflecting the society. That because everybody that held public offices are not, in fact, nobody is like, they are not accountable to an extent. So that is just the challenge we are having.
Thank
not
you.
That the government is a challenge.
Thank you so much for your insight on that one. 17-year-old mother Diola reportedly took her life after a domestic dispute with her husband Sheyi over 2 cups of rice in Labi, Akinyele local government area, Oyo State. Tragedy struck following a disagreement about the quantity of rice to prepare for Diola and her 15-month-old child. According to sources, the disagreement began when Sheyi suggested Diola cook only 2 cups of rice for herself and their child, indicating he would not partake in the meal. Upset by the suggestion, Diola prepared the meal, dropped her child at school, and later ingested an insecticide at home. The family member who pleaded anonymity said the two of them, husband and wife, actually had a minor issue over a measurement of rice. When she was trying to prepare food in the morning, the husband only advised her to measure just 2 cups because the food was meant for her and the kid, meaning that he, the husband, would not eat out of it, but she got angry. So to avoid crisis, the husband left home immediately. She prepared the food and took the kid to school. She later took insecticide after she came back and nobody knew. According to another family member, she said she became weak and started vomiting. We quickly called her husband to come back and rush her to the nearby hospital, but she passed away after being transferred to another facility in Orogun. Adeola's death highlights the deep emotional toll domestic conflicts can take. As of press time, Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer Adewale Osifeso had not commented on the matter. The community is reeling from the tragedy, with family members expressing shock at how a minor dispute escalated to a devastating end.
Seriously.
A few weeks ago, we had a discourse about a man killing his wife because of yam. What are your thoughts on this story?
You see, a marriage is not for people who are not mature in mind, aside the age. From the storyline.
For that, I was going to get there. What is the age of consent again in Nigeria? Because when you look at the fact that we are running the Sharia law and the Nigerian constitution alongside,
Sharia law in some part of the
what is the age for marriage? This girl is on the age, she's a minor.
Of course.
She's 17.
It's not. The girl is 17.
She's a 17-year-old.
17.
Yes.
No. A 17-year-old child is not supposed to talk about marriage. At that point, he's supposed to be in school to help herself in the future. But though they didn't say whether he's a Muslim or he's a Christian, they didn't indicate that.
That was not indicated.
That was not indicated. But for whatever reasons, like I said, marriage, irrespective of, everybody wants to get married on time and raise family on time, is not also giving reasons for people who are not, who don't know, that they have not really know much about marriage. Marriage is not something you just enter with the name, I want to marry, I want to settle down. People that are supposed to go into marriage are people who has been completely prepared in mind. I understand that marriage is not like a bed of rosary. like what the husband does ask her, if you are preparing the rice, measure 2 cups, because I'm not going to eat. Is that enough reason?
Do you think that is enough? Don't you think there's a possibility that there is an undertone of a different dispute? Number one. Number two, on the other hand, now think about the dispute part. Then equally, I want you to think about the fact that mental health crisis in Nigeria, and I want to reference this mental health crisis from the angle for this girl as regards also to child marriage.
It's true. There's something I figured there.
Right? The mental health of, I'm not sure, right, would depend on which in my opinion, I don't think it rightly happens easily, where a 17-year-old will wake up and say, I want to get married, and the parents will say yes. Most of the time, those marriages are usually arranged and organized by the parents. Now, what are your thoughts on the first hand as, you know, regards the whole child marriage thing and the way we handle mental health crisis in Nigeria?
Yeah, the child marriage thing is one of the, in fact, to me, is not really advisable, because it's causing so many harm than good. Some of these gay child, they don't have option. Their parents say you must marry maybe based on the religion they find themselves.
Right.
And so they see it as a norm, even when the child is not ready. Sometimes they impose somebody on them that is not revealed, because for you to talk about marriage, the person that wants to go into marriage should be able to know who he wants to marry and have a rapport. You don't marry anybody, you marry your friend. But in this case, they are not there to detect. The option is that your father wants you to marry this person, and that is it. Maybe it's a very, if they say no, that daddy must likely kill them or what have you, the family may likely isolate them. Right. So some of them fall victim of this, become a victims in this circumstance. Right. And then talking about the this mental issue, is sometimes it also because this is the reason some of them end up having this challenge, because it to develop, because when something you don't want to do and you are being forced to do it, no matter how sweet that thing later comes up, you will still remember that this is not what you want, because it is not from your heart. You are being imposed on. You are being that thing. You are being forced to do it. You are not doing it from the inside. You are just doing it. You are just smiling and suffering and smiling, because you just want to pretend that all is well when it's not well. Do you think so? Those things now also contribute to the mental issue, because looking at the story, boy 2 cup is not enough for somebody to go and poison himself. Maybe she has been seeking for her own freedom to do things at her way. Maybe the man is someone that like telling her what to do, and she's seeing herself not being free as a owner of the house to do whatever she wants. The husband must always give instruction. So sometimes, some women don't like those things. They know it is at the
between her and the suspect. Her elder sister Esther Adaidu stated, "We don't know this man. We had never seen him until we learned he murdered and dismembered my sister. Justice must be served." Salome's uncle Samson Adaidu condemned the gruesome act, saying this was no ordinary killing. He butchered her body into over 50 pieces, placing them in polythene bags as if preparing them for consumption. "We demand justice." The victim, a 24-year-old National Youth Service Corps NYSC member serving at Nikon Insurance in Abuja, reportedly visited the suspect at his residence in New Kashi, Karu local government area a few days ago. Was on a Tuesday or so.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at this story and the way this lady was butchered, her uncle said times. Many people want these organs and they can afford it. But organs actually come from a human being's body. They won't pick up a pig's organ to give let me say, pig's heart to replace a man's heart. No. They actually need another person's heart to put it into a man's heart, or his liver, or his kidney, or what have you. Right? Now, do you think that this term ritualism is now a blanket cover for a thriving market for organ harvesting.
Yeah, to understand, because if you look at the current happening, the issue of organ harvesting is becoming rampant. Majority is so many kidnapping that is happening. Some of them is just for that purpose. And you see, the world itself is turning into something else, whereby people no longer have value for lives. Like this of the so-called gospel singer. If, like I was saying that initially, I said if it was not caught, we wouldn't know what he's doing to make his money. So a lot of persons, they are doing so much. That is why it's not good. I advise every young person, whatever thing you want to engage yourself, it should be a positive, meaningful stuff.
Right.
Don't look at the next person and you don't know what he's doing, and you think you want to be like that person.
Right.
What you see that happen maybe is, you know, from the story you say, you go through his page, looking at it, not really looking that he's living large or whatever. Maybe all these things are part of what is giving him trouble, and he's looking for a way to, one issue where they think that is an opportunity for him to carry out such evil.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Handover. What do you think as regards the Commissioner of Police said the case is under investigation if he's found guilty? Now, this man has repeatedly
say if he found
guilty. This man has repeatedly
confessed
by every you know, pretense of saying the word, you know, confess. He has confessed. He has said he butchered her for a woman. He has said he butchered her for cheating. He has said he butchered her for temperature running and for after cooking indomie. He has confessed. He has also said he does not regret killing this woman.
To tell you that.
Right. Now, I want to take you back in the day how justice was served. In many places, I didn't go watch myself because my dad would not let me. But back then, when a crime is committed and someone is guilty, there were usually designated points where you think justice not being seen is one thing for you to, we anticipate justice just now, but when we do not see, do you think that has caused an increase in people constantly committing this type of crimes, because at the end of the day, nothing will happen?
Of course, to an extent, it